I dare anyone to tell me what Goku does. Dare anyone. Give me a feat.
Oh, calm down, Starscream. We're gonna get to that. Just watch.
17 dimensional beings, arguably 21. You know, where the Transformers multiverse has infinite amounts of universes that are infinite in size.
Just the base universe in Dragon Ball is stated to be infinite in size, as well as there being stated to be infinite amount of timelines, meaning by proxy there would be infinite amount of universes.
Inside, actually, the Revenge of the Fallen novels state that it's actually 21 dimensions.
I don't know if I'm missing anything, but the scan doesn't say 21 dimensions from what I read. It says 17, and it doesn't even address them as higher dimensions. It could just be alternate realms or alternate universes.
Unicron stated to be all the evil in the Transformers multiverse. If you take everyone in Dragon Ball, everyone, no, name a character from Dragon Ball, anyone, and put all of them against Unicron and Primus at once, they're all dead. One of those two solo.
Okay, Starscream, I'm just gonna cut you off there. I'm just gonna assume that you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You're using a scan from a novel, which you didn't even prove how it relates to the Transformers comics. You just stated some bullshit. And then you're using a vague statement of 17 dimensions that can be interpreted a completely different way with no real proof as to why that would equate to 17 spatial higher dimensions. Heck, let me even give you the benefit of the doubt. You didn't even prove how Unicron or any of the characters in Transformers would scale to said dimensions. From what you provided, even if Unicron was able to destroy the so-called infinite multiverse of Transformers, that would still only be Multiversal Plus, which is fodder to Dragon Ball. Even if I give you the benefit of the doubt and say they're 17 to 21 dimensional, that's only Hyperversal, which is still fodder to Dragon Ball. I'm gonna give you a quick breakdown as to why Dragon Ball characters easily slam that level of power. To understand Dragon Ball's cosmology, you have to understand Asian mythology, like you actually need to understand it. By the way, this is an officially licensed guidebook. Just to point that out. It states that it extrapolates its information from the anime, manga, and various guidebooks, further solidifying the fact that it's a valid guidebook to use. It also states that to understand the cosmology of Dragon Ball, you're gonna have to do a bit more research than just what the TV show shows you, which is what 99% of the power scaling community on TikTok does when it comes to Dragon Ball. They do not read guidebooks at all. Dragon Ball is verbatim stated to be based off of Journey to the West, which deals with metaphysics. That's funny because Otherworld is verbatim described as a place that is metaphysically disconnected from reality. The word metaphysical comes from the word metaphysics, which relates to abstract concepts like time and space. And if you read the super exciting guidebook, you would notice the fact that the Otherworld is stated to have no concept of time, which by proxy would include the concept of space, since space and time are intertwined and inexplicably linked together, and one cannot exist without the other. This would mean Otherworld is a dimensionless construct. Now in the Chosenshu, in this scan right here, Otherworld is figure 1. The interesting thing about figure 1 is that it's stated to be a subspace without the concepts of time or space. How consistent. Everyone and their moms already know this scan from the Daizenshu about the Otherworld being stated to transcend dimensions that cannot be perceived from the human world, by the way. If it transcends dimensions that humans cannot perceive, it would mean that it's above the dimensions that human beings cannot perceive. And dimensions in this wording is plural, which would mean it would be above a plural amount of dimensions. What's even funny is the fact that Otherworld in of itself, lacking the concepts of time and space, which is stated multiple times, means that it's not a dimension in of itself. So it's a dimensionless construct that transcends dimensions that cannot be perceived. That really sounds like Outerversal, you know? You can't have a dimension that is dimensionless and yet transcends dimensions. It's not possible. It's just Outerversal verbatim. Even funnier is that the Otherworld scan uses the term Shojigen, which literally means superdimensional. In case y'all don't know what superdimensional means, it basically means transcending the order or the concept of dimensions itself. Super or show in this aspect refers to something that is super beyond or ultra, beyond any notion, beyond any type or order of the thing in question, and Jigen means dimension. So if it's talking about Shojigen, it's referring to something that is beyond the entire order of dimensions in of itself, which is really consistent with the fact that the other world in of itself is not a dimensional construct and yet transcends dimensions and yet has relations to metaphysics, is metaphysically separated from reality, etc., which would add more to the consistency of it being outerversal. For supporting evidence, the screenwriter for Dragon Ball, Takao Koyama, basically states it's beyond dimensions and space. The afterlife also contains multiple planes of existence within itself, which are the Kaio, the Enma realm, and Hell. With Goku in his Super Saiyan God form being capable of destroying this massive macrocosm, which includes the afterlife, that would make him outerversal as well. With the power of Beerus or the gods of destruction being described as beyond dimensions, with Goku being relative to Beerus in the Battle of Gods arc. With it being described in multiple pieces of material as transcending dimensions, and Beerus being described as a being who transcends all, with the power of Super Saiyan God in of itself being described as a whole new world, as something Goku has never experienced before, which is beyond anything else they've ever experienced. It's also stated in this guidebook that the world of Void is a place without the concepts of time and space, in which the Grand Priest is freely able to manipulate this void, and Goku and Jiren are casually able to shake this void, which would even give them more solid scaling to their outerversal feats. Like literally, the kanji for the world of Void literally translates to dimensionless realm, which would support those scans I sent earlier. Also, Hit being able to use time skip in the tournament is not a contradiction to the world of Void not having the concepts of time and space. The Grand Priest is able to add artificial levels of gravity or add gravity, even like adding gravity overall. Like gravity is a function, like it's an effect of the curvature of space-time, so it would mean that the Grand Priest added space-time to the arena itself, so Goku and Jiren's feat of shaking the world of Void would still be valid for outerversal. I also forgot to send more supporting evidence, the fact that Goku and Beerus battle was stated to be super dimensional. Mind you, on the official Dragon Ball website, it's also addressed that Dragon Ball follows the many worlds interpretation theory, which basically implies that all probabilistic outcomes are objectively real in some parallel universe, which includes all possible outcomes of quantum measurements, which in of itself includes infinite dimensional spaces. So Dragon Ball would contain things like infinite dimensional constructs as well, which is high hyperversal, which is already beyond what you scale Transformers to, even without using the outerversal scale. For speed, Goku being able to affect the other world would already be an irrelevant speed feat, since being able to reach the other world would require outerversal range, and their ki is what is amping their bodies. So if they're amping their bodies with the same ki that they use to reach outerversal range, it would mean that they will be able to achieve irrelevant speed. But even without that, you can even get them to immeasurable speed, going off of the fact that it's stated that Dragon Ball characters have transcending time and space level speed or motion, which is basically immeasurable speed. It's also consistent with the fact that they're stated to have out of this dimension speed and overwhelming power, and this dimension is reference to the world of Void, which is stated to be out beyond the concepts of time and space. So if it's out of the concepts of time and space level of speed, then it will be irrelevant speed. Another thing is the fact that Goku is able to exist without space and time, which would be an immeasurable speed in of itself. So yeah, Goku slams Transformers. It's not even funny.